Hello everybody and welcome back. I am Dash Brandon and today we're going to be looking at the Blastotron Mini. This weapon came with the new sci-fi llamas and is described as a fast-firing automatic pistol. It suffers from poor accuracy at medium and long ranges and uses energy ammo. That last part is pretty important because sometime during patch 9.3, Epic will be removing the bacon cost from crafting energy ammo and replacing that requirement with batteries. I absolutely cannot wait to use more of these energy ammo weapons, and I'm pretty hyped for it. Up until now, I would usually use them on a more restricted level. If I had at or near the energy ammo cap, I would use an energy weapon. If I was not near that cap, if I only had a couple hundred ammo, I would not be using energy weapons at all. Energy ammo weapons, rather. Anyways, back to this weapon. This weapon has a unique 6th perk that gives you a stacking critical rating buff while shooting it. The buff will stack to 15 and will go in increments of 1.8 critical rating per stack. This means while at the maximum buff, you will be receiving a bonus of 27 critical rating. This is on par with having an additional crit rating perk slot as they cap at 30 critical rating. This buff does fall off after 1 second of not shooting, so do keep that in mind. The Blastotron also has an above average base critical chance at 15%, and base critical damage is at 75%. You can put 2 critical damage perks on it, bringing the critical damage up to 345% baseline, but you cannot change it from the default energy damage roll. I put magazine size on the final version of my weapon because of the build I'm running. For the last slot, I put crit rating, which puts the critical chance at 43% before you even start shooting the weapon. It can only go up from there. We end up at over 50%. Let's talk about the build I run with this weapon. For the commander, I'm running Beetlejuice because she gives bonus critical damage of 225% damage. This will bring our critical damage multiplier up to 570%. For our team perk, I will be honest that the only reason this is currently in the slot for me is because I couldn't decide on anything better. We're using Preemptive Strike. This will give us a big bonus damage on the first shot against a full health target, but once you see the rest of the build, you're going to realize we're not going to have that many full health targets very often. This is going to come into play if we're trying to clear lesser enemies, as we may have our stacks already up and we can knock out high level husks relatively quickly. I wanted to run Hot Swap, but I just couldn't find a decent build to meet the requirements of having a ninja and a constructor on the team for this weapon. The next perk is Waste Not Want Not from Light Show Spitfire. That's a tongue twister for me. This will give us another 30% on our magazine size, and it will tie into the next perk. The next perk that we're going to be using is Startup, which is given to us by Bulletstorm Jonesy. It will give us a stacking damage buff by 1% for each shot until we switch weapons or reload. This is going to boost sustained single target damage by 25% for quite a few rounds in our magazine, because we're going to reach that and we're still going to have almost half of, maybe about a third of the magazine to go. This perk is the reason I'm not running reload, as without the extra magazine size, you're not going to get as much of a benefit. I think we hit about 26 rounds when we were not running that. So, keep that in mind. The next perk will not give as much of a damage boost as Bulletstorm Jonesy, but it will help to smooth out the spikes in damage a bit for the first 5 seconds of shooting and give us a pretty good boost. If you know your perks pretty well, you already know this perk is locked and loaded. It gives us 15% bonus damage for 5 seconds after reloading, and is given to us by Skull Trooper Jonesy. We can empty the magazine pretty quickly, so this buff is actually going to stay up pretty often, as long as we're shooting a lot of things. Next damage perk we're running is Blaze of Glory. This perk will give us 35% bonus damage for 4 seconds after phase shifting. I feel like the best time to use this perk would be after you've already started to get your stacks, maybe midway through your magazine, provided you can shoot something right before you phase shift and right after you phase shift so you don't lose your crit rating buff. This perk is provided by Gunblazer Southie. The last perk is more of a utility perk in a way. I'm running Plasma Arc here, which is given to us by Cyberclops, who is also available in the Sci-Fi Llamas. This perk will give us 20% chance for our energy damage to zap nearby enemies for 58% of the damage dealt. This could mean huge area damage coming out of this weapon if it happens during a critical hit. I love the Survivalist. I would usually use him in a utility focus slot. I try to have some type of utility focuses at least in one slot, but I just couldn't pass up this extra damage. It's going to make AoEing down the mini husks a lot easier and basic husks way easy. And our gadgets just aren't that important to an extent. If you're wanting to kill mini bosses and smashers with this build, then you're going to want to throw slow field in. You can blink in, drop it right on their face, blink out, go to town, have that 35% extra damage from blinking, and just tear them to pieces. The turret is less useful, but it will help clear some stuff, though I do realize as you get up into the 170 and up power level for mobs, the turret just doesn't do anything to them. It's also going to destroy the usefulness of the preemptive strike effectively most of the time. But let's be honest, the perk isn't really going to do a whole lot for us anyways throughout most engagements. To be frank, you can shred a lot of enemies pretty quickly with this weapon and this build. It may become one of my new favorite pistol builds post-hero rework. And I was really enjoying my soldier build for pistols. Yes, soldier pistol build, it's on the channel, go look for it. If you have suggestions, I can words, I promise, on ways to improve the build, I would love for you to leave a comment. I'm always open to improving myself and the builds I run. I would make sure that you got credit if I update the video. This is a great pistol to add to any loadout that focuses on pistol damage. However, I would not run it on my soldier loadout or a similar loadout that I posted a few months ago. That loadout relied on small magazine pistols to be the most effective. This is more like an assault pistol build. That's really the best way that I can really describe it. The Blastotron Mini can deal out some amazing damage and make short work of quite a few enemies, as you've seen in the footage already. I highly recommend using it, especially after the energy ammo rework. I'm going to finish up this review with one simple statement about the weapon itself. I love this weapon. It's pretty damn fun. This is similar to what I wanted for a sniper hero perk without losing it on a critical hit. Feels great, and I hope we can see more innovative thinking from Epic in the future on the perks we see on weapons and heroes. What follows will be a little bit more footage of me running the build. I'm going to say goodbye to you now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm Dash Brandon. Bye bye.